Superman Unlimited issue 16, Dan Slott writing with Rachel Stott on the art. So this is part 3 of Kingdom of Zod, which I was pretty negative on last week, pardon me. You know, I thought it was a real mixed bag. There was a couple things to like, but I didn't really like how very quickly it just became a big fight. I felt like it was being far too simple for what could be a really cool, interesting, complex story of Zod sieging power of a city, or a country even, on Earth. And this issue didn't really do much to make me feel that much better. And again, it's not like there's not any individual scenes that I kind of like on their own, or like an individual idea that I kind of like. But, I mean, obviously this starts, it starts off with the prologue, sort of like filling in some of the Zod backstory like the last couple did. But once we get into the main part, it starts off with basically just the fight that was teased at the end of the last issue with the two Superboys fighting Zod and them getting thrown across the city and whatnot. And Zod just very quickly just blasts his heat vision at their kryptonite defender gizmos, which what I thought was weird about this though is they start talking about to each other, hey, we've got these kryptonite blockers, which means we have an advantage over Zod. And all I could think was, but Zod's not shown a single sign of weakness, like, in any of these issues so far. So we even debated last week, we were saying, oh, is it like a slightly different strain of kryptonite that he's immune from or something, and he's done that intentionally? But after he takes out the two Superboys here, he's like, they are right though, I am vulnerable to all this kryptonite. I'm going to go hide, whilst you, Eradicatrix, go deal with Superman. And I'm like, why haven't you felt anything since the start of last issue? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Well, also, I got mad at Prime for flapping his gums, because if he didn't say that and just kept fighting, you know, stay above the thing into the sun and charge your thing, you'd be able to give Zod a fight. But instead, you know, I don't know. It wasn't very fulfilling for Zod just to zap those off of them.
Yeah.
I was just like, what are we doing?
It also felt like super generic and like not plot holy, but like the way Zod's like, hey, I sense, you know, the House of L. I sense more than one House of L member even, and one of them is definitely Kal-El. Eradicatrix, I'm going to go hide from this kryptonite. You go and deal with him. And also, those two Superboys, I've dealt with them. I threw them into the kryptonite mines. They'll soon be dead. And all I could think was, this is the classic trope of the villain just assuming that what he's done is going to kill the heroes when it's clearly he's leaving the chance for them to escape and live. No. Like, that's exactly what this is.
No, Mr. Bond. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Type stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and I was just like, all the excitement I had for Zod has been killed through 3 issues. This is not an interesting Zod.
No, he's just cheesy. There's nothing interesting or complex about this version of Zod, which really sucks because like this exact setup of this city, him taking over, could have been so interesting. And then, of course, we have to do the whole thing where there's a line of dialogue here that really bugged me, because when we cut to Superman and he's with the others that he's came with, and they've all got kryptonite poisoning. And he's talking to Jean about it, and like, oh, I sense this is happening all over the world. He's like, yes, I sense that too. Young Superman says, first time I'm feeling it, boy, does it hurt. Is it just me, or is that line really, like, surely the line should be, oh, this really hurts. Or, you know, it's like, just as if, like, just.
What is this?
Yeah, have him say how much it hurts, and, you know, implying that he's never felt this pain before. Having him say, first time I'm feeling it, boy, does it hurt. It makes it sound like he's been like prepped on what kryptonite is for a long time, and he knows exactly what it is. I don't know. It felt weird to me.
Right. Well, they were trying to keep all this stuff a secret from him.
Yes.
Right. So you would assume that no one had ever brought up that word. Like, he shouldn't even know what kryptonite is.
Yep.
As an idea. And this is a boy that you would have to think has never been sick, has really never been hurt. So him getting here and suddenly having this weakness and not being able to stand, he should be way more confused. And him putting together that it's this stuff.
Yeah, confused, terrified, you know, lots of feelings should be going through his head. So Superman's like, hey, young Superman, me, you gotta go. You're not ready for Zod. You have to leave. And it's like, okay, All right, I guess we brought him for whatever reason. I do like that they kind of tricked Eradicatrix by like Jean pretends to be Superman for a minute with Mary Marvel, and then she Shazams back into civilian form, and they're kind of just blending in with the crowd. And Jean, like he's like having trouble focusing with the poisoning, so his like shape shifting starts to sort of like fall apart, and he starts to turn green again. I'm like, I kind of like that. I like the vibe of that, and it lets Superman escape into the sewer where a couple of civilians are helping him, and they're doing that thing. I mean, cause right before the start of the fight at the start, we did see a couple of humans or civilians in the city basically like, you know, praying for Superman to show up. So they're doing that. I will say though, the art here by Rachel Stott, I can't say I love how she draws Superman's face, because when he's in that sewer system talking to these two civilians, I think they look fine. They look like just fine side characters, but Superman's face, something about it just feels weirdly skinny to me. I don't know. Just didn't feel right.
It looks like if you cast Adam Scott as Superman.
Yes. I gave him a fake beard.
Yeah. Like he's just, to me, Superman has this big, thick set, square face. Because he's a farm boy from Kansas. And so anytime they draw him skinny like this, it feels off. But I think that's just, again, artistic, whatever, you know, getting it through. Because Superboy looks the same. It's almost the same proportions, but he's a teenager.
I mean, at least, you know? I mean, it's consistent in that sense. If that's Rachel Stott's Superman, it makes sense that her teenage version of Superman would have the same structure. So
looks like that.
Yeah, fair enough. The other big thing that happens in this issue, though, is that Superboy... Oh, this is confusing because there's other Superboys. All right, young Clark, I'll just say. Young Clark is flying through the city, and he sees Supergirl fighting some, regular robots or whatever, or soldiers on
the Krypton Knights.
Yes, on the roof. And he's like, whoa, a girl wearing the S emblem. Who is this? And I was like, okay, so we're doing the whole first meeting with Supergirl thing, which... Again, this is something we're going to have to erase from his memory so it doesn't devalue the fact that he meets her for the first time in the future, which annoys me just because I've complained about that ever since he's started traveling through time. But they do this weird thing where, right, I appreciate her being happy to see him. I appreciate that she's like, oh, finally, you're younger than me. I'm actually able to do what I was sent here to, which is protect my younger cousin. I appreciate that from her perspective. But this full page spread where they do this weird thing where all the different versions of Supergirl are behind Supergirl, and these different versions of Superboy. What?
None of them are Superboy, right? That is Connor. That is John.
Well, that's what I mean. None of them.
Who's the one on the top?
Well, the one on the top might be Clark, but yeah, like the the one that's Connor was sticking out to me because basically what she says is, I can't explain it. But in every time we've met, in every reality, it's always been wrong, but not this time. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense from Supergirl's side, even if I don't like this idea of like, I actually can sense that, that this is the first time they've met in a way that she was supposed to. I do think it's a weird visual to do. It's just an excuse to draw the old outfits, to be honest, more than anything else. But from his side,
and then none of those...
From his side, though, it doesn't make any sense because these other versions behind them, at least two of them aren't actually Clark. So what are you talking about? Because it would make maybe some sense if there was a version of Supergirl that met John first or met Connor first, but that never really happened. It's always been Clark.
No.
So I don't get this page. I don't get the point of this page.
Well, no, and then the Supergirls are not all Kara, right? The one in white, that's Sorel. That's a different version of Supergirl.
Oh, fair point. But she has had a white outfit before, though, right? Like that's why I didn't really assume.
Yeah, but the black headband.
Sure, right? Sure.
That is post, stuff that we're reading right now in Peter David's run.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil that for people. But then that other Supergirl also is the Peter David version, which was a clone that had powers, right? That was post-crisis. So none of those are even Kara either, in the way that none of those are young Clark. So it's like, what do you mean we've met in every other universe? These characters should not know each other.
I guess like the Connor and the clone one from the Peter David era makes some sense because they were both around at the same time. But I'm curious though, what tells you about that it's the Peter David version of Supergirl? Well, what's the giveaway?
For me, it's the haircut, because the haircut's a little bit shorter, right? It's the one directly. It's the one that's opposite Connor.
Okay, I feel like that's a little bit nebulous though, because that could just be an art choice more than anything else.
I mean, it could be, but this is how I was taking it, that these are different Superboys. So, and then having the white t-shirt one, who was clearly it was a completely different Kryptonian.
Because the one
it's a Kryptonian that takes, the Supergirl moniker after that.
The one at the top is definitely Kara though, because that's the one from the early 80s series, I think it was.
Yes. Yeah, post or pre-crisis.
Yeah, pre-crisis.
Supergirl.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, and looking at all those, and it's just like, and then that's John Kent. That is his costume, directly across from the white one. So yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
This is a mess of a page.
John Kent has nothing to do with that era of Supergirl.
No, not at all. So, but yeah. I understand what they were going for. I just don't think they executed it well at all. Well, because even just having an idea of Supergirl and Superboy on there and how it was supposed to go with her being his protector, I don't need the here where we've met in different timelines type stuff.
Yeah, I think I actually disagree with it's the execution. To me, it's not even the execution that's the problem. It's that conceptually this doesn't make any sense to me. If this was like 4 versions of Clark from different eras of Superman and then like all the different versions of Kara, I think it would make sense, right? So you wouldn't include Peter David's Supergirl. You wouldn't include any alternate version of Supergirl that's not... But the one that's pre-crisis is absolutely a different version of Kara, right? Just like the one that came back in like 2005, 2006 is the reboot of that version of Kara. It's Kara Zor-El.
Right.
That would make sense to me. This as it is, I just don't get it. I don't get this idea. Because it's like, Connor has nothing to do with Clark. In the sense that this is not like another version of, I don't know, it's weird. I don't get it. It like I said, it's just an excuse to draw these different outfits. That's all it is. Like, I appreciate the idea of her wanting to protect baby Clark, and this is the first time she gets to be older and actually do that job, so she gives him...
I like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, she gives him her kryptonite like thing, right, which is still getting charged because she's up high in the sky in the sunlight and all that. And then he you can't help but just hug her in the moment, and he tries to lie and say, "Oh, I'm just sharing the kryptonite shielding," and she's like, "Yeah, of course you are." So it's that part's a sweet moment. That part is actually kind of adorable. Yeah,
and the realization he is not the only survivor, right? This is like a thing where up to this he's like 15, let's say, and in this Action Comics run, he thinks he's it. That's it. Krypton is gone. It is him.
Yes.
He doesn't know anything else.
Although, with the asterisks on all this, that I still don't like that he's learning all this. He has to forget it all. Or But
in the moment, him being like, "I'm not alone," that's a nice moment. And then the hug, and he goes, "I'm just sharing the shielding." She's like, "Yeah, sure you are." I do like that. That is a nice human moment.
Yeah.
For them to share in this otherwise thing that is driving me insane.
Yeah, just the weird conceptually from the get-go. I don't like what they did with that page. And then, we see the president of El Codero still got that weird Zod kryptonite mask on in a cell. All the other Supergirl friends are all thrown into cells down there. So they're the worst for the wear. Justice League are running around. Flash is like trying to evacuate people in certain, in Central City to get them away from the kryptonite. Tomorrow Man is flying with the Steels and Lana, but he ducks out to go help with El Codera. So that's the thing.
Yeah, because of Lois, right? Because Zod has his mom.
Yeah.
So he's gotta get there and help out.
Yeah. So the whole thing towards the end is that Clark comes out of the sewer and he's in the sort of the Green Fortress, but because it is a fortress and there's like the computer's got the Jor-El hologram in there, it's like, hey, do you need a Kryptonian battle suit to protect you from the kryptonite or some such? And he's like, thanks, Dad. So he gets some armor. Really weird. But also at the same time, like, Zod shows up in like a suit, but I didn't even realize it was Zod until Lois actually said who it was, because like it's this pink and yellow outfit, and I'm like, what is this?
Also, her telling her grown adult son that daddy's home was a weird choice.
Oh yeah, I hated that line. What the hell are you doing? Daddy's home. That doesn't make any sense.
Just be like, hey, your dad's here. He wants to see you. Something along those lines. But daddy's home is so weird.
It felt really, it felt so out of character for her to say it that way. That nothing made sense about her saying it that way. Like, if he was 6, maybe it would have made sense.
Yes. Wait, but he's a grown adult. Like, you don't. Also, the only reason I kind of knew that was Zod was that was a suit that he was wearing before he turns on the president.
Really? Okay, I didn't remember that.
That's the leader of the Krypton Knights. But yeah, it's not very clear until he says, Kal-El, you're always playing the hero.
No, Lois says it before that.
So,
Lois says that it's Zod before that. Because that's where I figured it out. It was when she called him Zod, ? The thing for me...
Yeah. Zod, like, not what I was expecting.
The only other way the daddy's home line could have worked is if she was saying it to Zod, right? Because it would be demeaning. It would be like, daddy's home, like she's rubbing it in, but she's saying it to John, so it makes no goddamn sense. Anyway, and then
he lies to John and says that he likes the new costume.
Yeah, but John also lies to him.
Likes that new costume.
Yeah, but John also says to him, back at you, and I'm like, you're also lying because this suit is ugly as shit.
Yes.
What this giant purple armor suit? Do you know what it looks like? It's vaguely the shape of the aliens from The Fifth Element. I don't know if anyone remembers them off the top of their head, but the big arch, sort of semicircle, like shoulder line. I don't know.
It looks like a Hulkbuster without being cool.
Yes.
Like there's no neck on it. It has just shoulders, and then like the regular battlesuit proportions, but just the way that Clark's looking out through a window, almost like he's in a chamber for it, and it's just like it's
shit. It's terrible, and it's almost like this issue started with all the bad stuff I didn't like. It gave me a couple of interesting things in the middle, and then the ending with these battle suits and the daddy's home line plummeted me into oblivion again, where I'm like, oh, you know what? We're about halfway through or so, or almost through this crossover, and it feels like, okay, now we're just hate reading it at this point. Like, I don't even think I'm excited for any more of this now.
I read through this and I was like, well, this killed all my excitement for this. I can't wait to get back to regular Williamson Superman. Well,
I was thinking,
at least that
I was thinking regular Dan Slott Superman Unlimited, not Williamson Superman, but sure, whatever.
Yes. Well, but that's how, because I've been more positive with the Williamson, but it has these wild swings of up and downness, but at least I'm mostly enjoying it. And this is just like, I'm constantly reading going, what the hell? And then I feel like the only reason they covered Zod's face with that suit was because if you had Zod with his regular face out, you would confuse him with Superman because they both have the beard.
And because you can't see the regular Superman outfit, it wouldn't be as obvious. Yeah. I could see it.
They put him in that costume, and it's just like, man, it's whatever. But yeah, this is.
Here's I mean, obviously they're very different sizes, right? The Superman armor is like this big hulky, like you say, Hulkbuster style suit. But why did they make them both purple and yellow?
Why is the Kryptonian battle armor purple? Why did it go with that color?
I mean, it could be any color. There's no reason why it has to be anything in particular. It's just really weird that they decide that both his and Zod's suit were both the same color scheme.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, something to do with El Caldero? I don't know. Like, why? Also, how's the sunstone that made this Kryptonian castle, it just has the battle suits in there?
Well, I think that's just like fortress logic in general, right? Is that the fortress has Krypton technology, and I guess that's maybe the justification for the same type of colors and stuff, is that Zod maybe got this suit from the fortress. But I feel like Zod was going around in this suit being the head of the Knights before this fortress was created with a stone. I'm sure it was.
Mm-hmm. No, he was, because they're teasing out by the time he lands with the meteorite that he sends to Earth for whatever reason. Because he had to reform. That was what the little origin piece at the beginning was, is that after the war, he essentially had to reform, kind of like Superman did after he fought Doomsday, right? And the Kryptonian, chamber thing puts him back together, and now, you would assume that like he just appears and, takes on this armor from Caldero scientists or whatever, because they're rich because of their kryptonite.
But yeah, this was shit.
Just a big shoulder shrug.
It was like, again, Supergirl reaction to young Clark was adorable. Unfortunately, it was ruined by just this like forced like nostalgia page that didn't make much sense. And then there's just lots of crap at the start and the end that I really did not like. And then even when it's like Superboy Prime calling Zod Terran Stamp, like that's almost funny, but like I'm just like I'm not in the mood for it.
It's too far. too cute by half.
Oh dear. All right. What are you rating Superman Unlimited?
Do I do it to 5 or bump it up? No, I'm going straight 5. It is very, very middling. Very, for me, a 5's way bad.
Sure.
So yeah. I'm
going 4. I think it's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's bad, and it's annoyingly like it doesn't even. This is the thing. As much as Slott's the one credited with writing this, and I'm not trying to like defend Slott here by any stretch. Like maybe he is just the one who's responsible for all the weird things in this issue and the dialogue I don't like. But it doesn't feel like an issue of Slott's, right? It doesn't feel like a regular Superman Unlimited issue. It feels like whether he actually penned every line of dialogue in this issue, or it was kind of a committee thing and they're all just getting credits for their own issues or what, it didn't feel like an issue of Superman Unlimited by any means.
Because even that stuff that was happening with the Superboy and Tomorrow Man stuff, right, where it ended up being Superboy from Earth 3, Ultra Boy, it still felt like Slott's writing from what we had gotten.
It did, absolutely.
Up to the point. Even if we didn't enjoy certain things in it. This, it definitely felt like by committee. And maybe he had 1 or 2 lines here. Maybe the Daddy's Home was supposed to land differently, and I feel like Slott could have done it. But yeah, it's just off, man. This whole crossover just feels off. And that's the only thing I can describe it as.
Yeah, we still have several issues of it to go. We got like over a month left of issues of it, but that feels more like a threat now more than anything else. So I hope Bad Seeds is good, because if Bad Seeds ends up being like this, it'll be a really rough September if both crossovers suck.
That said, though, you're not reading Ivy, but all the stuff that's crossing over, we're enjoying more than I think we were enjoying the Superman stuff.
I mean, that's true.
For those, so so going in, we're going in with a bit more steam, and then seeing the preview.
Sure, I intentionally didn't really look at the preview. I know it's there at the back of all the issues this week, but I wasn't really looking. But I think what I will say though about the Batman crossover coming up is that the back corner feels a lot more coherent and connected before the crossover. It feels like Gotham, what's going on, has been led by Fraction, but it's been felt in all the other books. It feels a lot more like a unified vision already, even before we get to the crossover. I don't think the Super books felt like that at all, and then all of a sudden they're all crossing over, so that may also be an issue here as well.